Hi everyone.
Uh, I think I see people kind of joining in. Yeah, so we'll wait for another 2, 3 minutes and then we'll start the last part of our workshop sessions. Yeah. All right. Pallavi, you're there?
Yeah, yes, yes. I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Okay. So our next session is by Pallavi. So Pallavi has been associated with India HCI for, I mean, a lot many years. I mean, till now, and you have already seen her work. I mean, Professor Joshi talked about her work extensively in the first session that we had, and she is currently she's pursuing her PhD at IDC, IT Bombay. And like what Professor Joshi has already mentioned, she's working around elderly users and working on the technology adoption for health and fitness. Pallavi actually brings a wealth of knowledge because of her experience in industry. She has like over, I don't know, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have around 25 years of experience, I guess, around in this domain. And she's basically trying to she'll talk about something very practical, something, you know, most of the times we struggle with a lot, like how do we kind of submit to a conference, because there are many technical things like, you know, how do we use overlift, how do we submit in SAMT, right? So she'll cover all of these aspects, apart from covering things like how do you use AI in academic writing, and how do you kind of work around the aspects of ethics and authorship if you're using AI, right? She'll also talk about a little bit about citation and reference management. And it's not just only about the submission part that she's going to talk about, she's also going to talk about what happens next after you submit, including how do you write a rebuttal, especially when your paper gets the reviews from the reviewers, how do you kind of respond to them, right? So this is going to be a very important session for all the new authors out here. And yeah, Pallavi, you can take it away from here. Yeah.
Thanks, Anusmita. It's a nice way to say that Pallavi is very old. So, so,
Not the intention,
no,
really.
no, yeah, working for 25 years. Yeah, I know. I'm the oldest student in PhD at IDC. So yeah, I am Pallavi. I have been working in different areas, and currently my focus is only on PhD and finishing PhD ASAP. So afternoon sessions are actually yeah, not that great. So morning sessions are very interesting. I'll try to make it more practical tools and tips. Yeah, let me start sharing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can all see my screen,
Yes,
right?
yes, we can see. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I have just named this as tips and tools for new research writers. So, basically, these are my own experience when I was a new writer, like how, confused I was, what kind of problems I have actually gone through. And of course, AJ was always there, my supervisor, to guide me. So, I know writing is, to a conference or a journal is overwhelming because it's not like, I mean, there are many of you who might have already written a blog or any kind of magazine articles, which is all. I'm not saying that is less difficult, but here the rigor is slightly more because good conferences and good journals are properly peer reviewed. So, and also, of course, all the sessions, some of the sessions I have just watched on YouTube. So the sessions have covered on various aspects. I will not get into that. So yeah, so what this session is about, basically, yeah, writing a research paper, it's not just about, how good you're in English or you're putting everything into sections. New writers, when I was also a new writer, I have struggled with many things, like, how to think like a researcher and how to write academically, the sentence structure and everything, how to use the writing tools, different tools are there, which one to use, how to, format it, how to manage the references. This is one big headache. And how to submit and how the review process works. I think AJ sir already talked about it slightly. And how to write rebuttals. So yeah, basically covers, uh, my journey as a writer. So hopefully it will make some help, hopefully it will give some kind of practical guidance to the new writers. This is only for the new writers, not the ones who have already written papers. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, to begin with, yeah, the session covers these aspects broadly: common mistakes, using AI responsibly. This is something which we saw in the last one or two India HCI. So I just want to highlight some of the aspects here. Then references and citation management. Practical tools, mostly everyone in our lab use Overleaf. It's very easy to learn and easy to submit also. So some tips on Overleaf and submission process, how to submit through CMT and what happens after submission. So the session covers about these aspects. This session actually is complements the discussion of HSR's paper structure. Here it focuses on the practical aspects that new writers often struggle with, like struggles during the writing and also struggled during submission and after submission. So first mistake is starting to write before being clear about the contribution. So, I mean, of course, you can write. I mean, it is not that you have to be sure about your contribution first before you even, start writing, but at least you should have a broad idea. So many beginners write a lot of content without clearly knowing, what problem they are addressing and why it matters and what their contribution is. So these things are very important. Paper is not just a record of what was done. Okay, you might have done 101 things, but that is not important. That is not interesting to the research community. Okay, it should make a clear contribution to knowledge. I'll show some examples also. Second, related to this topic is treating the paper like a report. So, new writers, even I did this. So, we often, we write chronologically. Okay, first we did this, then we did this, then we found this. So, that's it. So, this is our paper. But research paper should be argument driven. It's not a diary like. It's not like, chronologically you write things, one after the other. I did this, I did this, I did this. So good papers do not simply narrate what the researchers did. They build a case for what question actually matters, why it matters, and thus how the study answers it. So that is, the paper should tell, here is the problem. This is the problem which is there. So audience should be glued to the problem. Here is the gap. Nothing, even though there are some studies which have been done, okay, but this is not done. Here is the gap. And here is the reason this study is needed. Okay. And here is the specific question the paper will answer. I'll show one example, my own paper, not trying to boast. But yeah, so here, this is actually a paper. We conducted a systematic literature review investigating contextual factors in technology-based solutions designed to support health and fitness routines for older adults. So here, if you see, I'll just focus on this. See these lines. Research has shown that while technology-based solutions can assist older adults in adhering to health and fitness, their adoption among this demographic remains low. So this is a problem. Okay, the problem is identified. The problem is not told by me. There are citations. It's already identified by other researchers in this space. So why it happens? This can be attributed to the fact that these technologies are often not designed based on older adults' need, preferences, and prior experience. Again, prior research already has shown this. Also, their involvement in the design process is limited. So this is a problem. Additionally, design of technology-based solutions cannot exist in isolation. Neither can we can expect a single solution to work globally. So integrating contextual factors in technology-based solutions is essential to ensure that these solutions align with the needs and preferences of older adults. So I'm making an argument here. This is what is needed. And finally, here I'm saying that, this is what has been done. Here we focus on this, HCI literature and investigate the existing research on technology-based solutions supporting older adults worldwide. Specifically, we address these two research questions. So basically, what I'm saying here is I'm showing how it establishes the problem. The problem is there. Explain why the issue matters, why it matters, because elderly healthcare and all is important. I'm narrowing the scope, then frame the research question. So the method it comes later as a way to answer the research question asked in the paper. So the paper should ideally tell the problem, the gap, the reason why the study is needed, and also the specific question the paper will address. So this is another small common mistake. Third one is weak or unfocused related work. This I think KJ sir and Pranjal and even to an extent Malay also, they all spoke about this. I'm not going to give much depth into this. This is, for example, beginners either cite too little or cite too much without purpose. So literature review should not be like a shopping list, or it should not be like a list of articles. It should be like, something related to your area. But from that you can agree, you can disagree with that. You can say, like, for example, yes, these people have said this, but in this context, in Indian context, elderly context, this may not work for whatever is the reason. So it should help to position your work in that. So I'll not get into the detail because this is already covered, weak or unfocused related work. Next one is making claims that are too broad. This is very common. As a reviewer, as an India HCI reviewer, I have seen this a lot of time. This is a common mistake. People, writers, new writers, they claim over, there's a lot of over claiming. Okay. For example, claiming general impact from a very small study. I'll show my own study. This particular paper, I think Ajay sir, Anusmita said he spoke about these papers and all. So here, this is actually a short deployment study we conducted. It is just one with two groups, one 11 days and another 18 days. So I am actually looking at how social interactions actually help in motivating adherents to walking. So look at the way I'm claiming here. Our findings shows that group activity matrix, that is the visualizations that we created in the study, they sparked curiosity and enabled social interaction, which I'm measuring through various aspects, suggesting potential to support walking adherence. Look at the sentence structure. Suggesting potential to support walking adherence. I cannot claim, I cannot say that just by 2 week study, even though there is an increase in the step count from whatever before and after, I am not allowed to claim because it is just a small short study. So there is something called as novelty effect. So I cannot overclaim saying that, okay, so group activity metrics actually they enable walking adherence. So I cannot do that. Instead of that, I can just show a pathway. I can say that suggesting potential to support walking adherence and future long-term studies are needed to prove this claim. This is just a hypothesis right now. So this is very important. So this is one problem I have seen in most of the new writers is, they do a study, like for example, they do a study on Indian older adults, those who live in middle class urban areas, and the claim is for all older adults across the globe, which is no. You have to clearly say this study is done in this context. So transferability need to be tested. We cannot overclaim. This is a very important aspect in writing any research paper. Okay. Claiming effectiveness when only early observations are collected. Just like in my paper, I had the one which I showed just now. It's only early observations. So I cannot claim the effectiveness. I have to tell it very clearly. You have to be very honest when you're writing the paper. Okay. So yeah, so that is another mistake. This is something everyone talks about, ignoring the writing clarity. Long sentences. If you use AI, this is a major issue. Most of the viewers are experts. They come to know. I'm not saying don't use AI. We'll come to that. But long sentences and too much jargon. It's, your paper should be simple. It should be clear to the audience, including the reviewers. Undefined concept. Suppose if you are introducing a concept, you have to explain what it is, because you can't expect the reviewer to understand or even other audience to understand what the topic or what the terminology is. You have to explain. Suppose if you are suddenly introducing a new, like for example, social prototyping is one methodology which I'm using in my paper. It is not a very well-known method amongst HCI researchers. So I have to define what it is. So undefined concept defined in the beginning itself. Mixing results and discussion, this again is a problem. Should be only findings. You have to talk about what you have found. Discussion is based on your findings. So based on your findings, what next? You can talk about the implications. You can relate it to the prior work, how it is similar, how some of the things are similar, how some of the things are different, and what is the novelty, what is the, something contribution or implication to design research you are coming up with. That should be in the discussion. Don't mix results and discussion. Repeating the same point in multiple sections, no. As much as possible, avoid that. So this is about clarity. And leaving writing to the very end. So this again is not a great idea. Uh, this is, suppose if you are conducting a study, okay, you've already conducted the study, okay, then you start writing the method section, right? So because what happens is when you write, it helps you to think. So whatever gaps are there, whatever problems are there in your study, that becomes clearer when you write. So you should not keep the writing as the last step. As and when you do the study, start writing. Ask the research question, change it. There will be 10 or more than 10 drafts. So it will actually clarify your thinking. Keep writing. So a good paper is, one is, of course, it's about doing good research and about clearly showing what was done, what work you have done, and why it matters to the HCI community. Okay, and what can reasonably be claimed from your findings. So these are common mistakes. I think this is something which is already covered in the morning sessions. I'll not. That's the reason I didn't go in much detail into this. Now, this is something important. Second session is about using AI in paper writing. So this this we have found this many times in recent years. Many people, they use AI, and to even starting with ideating or coming up with an entire paper. So it's not of course, reviewers also find it difficult to understand at times, and when it becomes too difficult, then we know that it is written by AI. Okay, so that is the thing. AI definitely is helpful, but it cannot replace researchers' judgment, originality, and responsibility. So you cannot make AI as a co-author. That is definitely, it is, your contribution might sound very weak if you do that. So it can improve the writing. I understand that, some people who are not very good in writing, paraphrasing, or something like that, it is definitely help. Okay. But it on its own, AI cannot create a real contribution. Okay. It may flatten your actual contribution, or, some kind of jargons, different academic language, and maybe your weak ideas or weak contribution, it might make it as, a very polished version. So what happens in the review process, generally we have reviewers who are substantially, who have worked in this area, who have written, who have reviewed, who are already reviewers for different conferences and journals. So they come to know that this is actually not the author's contribution, but it is AI who has contributed it. So either it is desk rejected, or even if it is not desk rejected, it will be rejected saying the same thing, that this paper looks like AI written paper. Okay, so please don't get into that. You can use AI. I'll tell you where you can use AI. Improving the sentence clarity. You want to write something and you are not very happy with these things. Improving the sentence clarity, grammar, just like Grammarly and all that you're using, you can use AI. Grammarly also has an AI version. And summarizing whatever notes you already have written, okay? That is very good. Suppose you go to a field study, you conduct a field study, you have written all the notes, you put it in overleaf and all that, and you want to summarize that, then it is helpful. Or you have given certain title, okay? You want a title which is, slightly polished, academically polished, or heading economically polished title, there it can be helpful. Rephrasing the awkward text, as I said, to make the sentence clear. And one of the things which I find very useful is overleaf issues. So now that I'm writing the thesis, and so there are certain things I need, like for example, the table structure or the figure. Instead of one figure, I need three figures in this thing. All these, overleaf coding, it definitely helps. You can, put the overleaf code and you can refresh. Of course, I'm sure most of you present here know AI much better than me. I don't have to tell this. So helps with formatting, including latex or overleaf issues. AI is definitely helpful. But where you should use it very carefully, or it should not be trusted blindly, is fake references. This is something which we have seen in India HCI. Wrong citations. We check the citations. When we are reviewing the paper, we check whether this particular paper, what the author has cited, whether it exists. When we check the citation, that particular paper itself doesn't exist. We realize that this is some AI, generated fake reference. That's a very, wrong way to cite. You should never cite a paper. Two things. You should never cite a paper discovered only through AI. That is first thing. And even if sometimes some of the tools like Perplexity and all tools, they work like search engines, so they give proper academic references. You can cite, but you read it. Without reading, please don't cite the paper. That is because the author's intention may be something else and you're citing something else. So read the paper. Even if you don't read the entire from top to bottom, go through, skim through, at least get an idea about what the paper is. Okay. Then you cite the paper. Don't ever just cite the paper because any of the AI tool has said so. You have to read it. And if you are convinced as an author, you cite it. Okay. And yeah, inaccurate summaries, you have to be very careful about all these things. And some of the invented fact, it will some suddenly invent the fact 65% of India is something something something. You can't write that. You have to look for the actual claim, whether it is really true. Then only use that fact. Okay. And new method, suddenly a new method comes, suddenly a new claim, or your finding is there, it will interpret something else. Don't do that. Okay. So, all finally, your weak claim, maybe that weak claim is portrayed as something very novel. Okay, portrayed at, okay, this is something earth shattering, groundbreaking research, and don't believe that. So, check that and don't trust AI blindly. And these are all the points I have made because this is what has happened in the previous 1 or 2 years in the HCI conferences, where, after ChatGPT has come 2023 onwards. So we have seen these kind of papers. So don't, trust AI blindly. So yeah, coming to the research ethics and authorship, remember AI is a tool, it's not an author. As an author, you're responsible for all these important aspects: accuracy of your paper, accuracy of your studies, originality, the citation, which is very important. We have seen many fake citations. So please, you are responsible for the papers that you cite in the paper, your paper. Argument. You are making the argument. You have to tell this is what. See, only when you write, you become a better writer. You can't give, to begin with, you can't give the argumentation and all these things to the AI. Okay. So only when you write, when you make the argument, when you discuss with the reviewers, when reviewers criticize, when you refine it, then your argument becomes better. Okay. Don't make AI write the argumentation for you. Interpretation, accountability, all these, the author, the researcher is responsible, not the tool. Always check the policy of the conference. India HCI has the AI policy. It is written in the website. Check what is allowed, go accordingly. Okay. This is about this thing. So yeah, use AI as an assistant, not as a substitute. It's for clarity, drafting support, yes. Use it as Grammarly, yes. But for evidence, citation, interpretation, use your own, citations, evidence, and interpretation. Ultimately, please remember, you remain responsible for your paper, not AI. Okay? So this is important, and please don't, as a new author, don't give your writing to AI. You will have to write, you will have to make the argumentation, you will make the mistake. That is how you will learn. Okay. Yeah. Now coming to the next one, references. Okay, why references matter? Of course, references are very important. They show how your work actually relates to the prior work. Okay, they support the claims. So I have shown in my paper also, I said, see, Indian older adults, even though they need to exercise, they don't exercise. There are technology they don't use. How I'm saying, because it's all from prior work. So they support the claims and they acknowledge other researchers. It's always said, right? Research is standing on the shoulders of the giant. So you are actually acknowledging what has been done in this area before. So they strengthen the credibility. So you have to manage the references. So I'll come to the tools and all that. Managing references properly saves time, reduce errors, and making writing much easier. This is very important. Start, even if you take, few references, start recording it properly so that when you're writing the literature review, everything comes handy. Okay, so what happens? these are the common problems as a beginner I have also faced. Forgetting where a reference came from. I know this is a reference. I don't know where it has came from. One particular, whatever I have written something in the paper. I haven't cited it. I said I'll cite later or something like that. I have written, but I don't know where it is come from. Inconsistent citation style. Every conference has their own citation style. Use the same style. ACM conference citation style is used for India HCI. Use that citation style in text as well as end reference. I'll get to the example later. Missing page numbers or metadata in the reference, citing papers without actually reading them. This is very important. Don't ever cite a paper if you don't read them. Even if it is a some small sentence, if you want to cite, read what exactly it is. Skim through at least, So read the papers and then only you cite. And yeah, this is something all of us have this habit. Researchers, we collect PDFs, but we don't organize them. This is a not for the new writers, for all of us. We collect lot of papers, but it's always ideal to organize them in folder structure, or in Zotero has all these structures now. So I'll show that also. Yeah, maintain a clean reference library from beginning. So many students do ask me how to maintain the reference library, whether it is we have to use a tool, whether Excel or whatever it is. I've done both. I'll show the Excel first because before Zotero, I have done this. This is a literature review, for the basically for the references. What I have done is for each paper, I have read, I have written everything, like whatever I felt about. Okay. So what kind of research it is, what are the methods used, and whether they have used the technology, what technology they have used, and also their older adults age range and contextual factors. This is what I have studied. And also my review. So what is a short review, what exactly they did in my own words. This is very important. And also additional points, whatever, if I need something in while writing, all these things. Okay, so I make I used to make this Excel sheet. Now I don't. I use Zotero. I'll show that also. So this is quite handy, because when I write a paper or a thesis or anything, then I can use this. I can take this. While taking also, what I do is I combine according to the theme. Like for example, in this, if at all some technology, okay, so I combine according to different themes. So here maybe I have combined according to different type of research. Okay, so I talk about all system development research in one para. Then I talk about exploratory or evaluative research in another para. Then across the themes I compare. So to do all these things, these kind of Excel sheets, it actually helps. This is a very simple way, very simple, handy tool, which you can use and refer. Whenever you read a paper, make a note of it. Okay, that is very important. Otherwise, you will definitely forget at the end of writing. So this was one way. Another way is, now I use this Zotero. It's a free tool which is available. So what I do is, whenever I write a paper, basically I'm writing papers currently only in my PhD area. So whenever I write, so there are already PhD references. If at all I'm writing a new paper, then like for example, if I'm writing a new paper like this is a paper. So apart from the existing references, if anything else is there, then I use this Zotero. So I add the papers. So I'll show how to add the paper in Zotero also. So that is later I'll do that. So these are the papers, I use it. From this paper, I can transfer all these papers into Overleaf. So this Overleaf and Zotero, I'll come back again and again. So this is where I save all the papers. Okay, whatever paper I read, I save it. I can make a note also. So instead of just putting it in the Excel sheet like this, instead of writing the review in the Excel sheet, I can write all the notes in the Zotero itself. So that is another handy tool. Whichever tool you like, you can use that. Okay, I'll come back to Zotero when I talk about Overleaf. Yeah, so and this is important because, see, paper is always about having some literature. I don't think you can write a paper without any literature. Maybe you can, but I don't think so. Even at least 10 papers would be there. Something is there. Okay, so it's always, you have to maintain a proper reference library. Okay. And yeah, record why each paper is relevant. Whenever you read a paper, so then record why it is relevant. So I don't know whether this is discussed before. Paper writing workshop, the best way to write a paper is first is to read a paper. Okay, read as many papers as possible and write as many papers as possible. And read and write. It's like, continuous two things which you need to do. Then only you will become better. So yeah, do not wait until the end to insert the citations and all that. I'll come back to Zotero when I talk about overleaf. So some people use Excel like me, old school. Some people use Zotero. Some people use Mendeley and other software. Some people use it in Overleaf itself. Suppose if you see Overleaf, I'll come back to Overleaf also, the format and all that. Some people use all the references in Overleaf itself. Suppose if I check if I check one paper, okay, I found one paper, say for example, yeah, I found, let's say, yeah, this particular paper, okay. I want to refer this paper. So how I can refer? So I can either go to this paper, uh, one second. Just a second. So I can actually save it directly in Overleaf. That is one way. Or I can save it in Zotero also. That is another way. I'll show both the ways. Okay. So this is a paper. If you see export citation, so this is a paper. You can just copy this. So this entire bib text. So Overleaf, we generally use bib text is the format. Just copy this and then you can just put it in the references.bib. This is actually Overleaf. I'll come to the Overleaf formatting and all. I'm just talking about references here. So you can just put this, save this here. So when I'm citing the paper, I can just cite this like this. Okay. So this is one way of doing this. Otherwise, instead of putting it here, instead of this, what I can do is I can actually have a Zotero connector plugin, Chrome plugin is there, which you can download. Zotero is a free software. Overleaf is free. Nothing is paid. Zotero you can download. And once you download, there is something called as Zotero connector, which is a plugin. You can just open that plugin. If you see here, so then you can just save that paper. So here, for example, I am putting it in this particular folder and I'm just saving it here. So if you see this, it is gone here. See, greedy grades, that paper, Avni's paper is saved here. Okay. So, yeah. So it's saved Zotero library. Okay. So now, once it saves, I don't want this paper here, so I'm deleting. Yeah. Okay. So once it saves here, what you can do is you can directly export this entire reference to Overleaf. Suppose you are writing a paper, okay, and all these papers are in this, okay, this particular folder of Zotero. You can just select it, very easy it is. You can just select it and export items. So you can export it. So export with notes, whatever it comes, bibtex file, just export it. And you will have to save it somewhere, exported items.bib. And when you go to this thing, you can just upload it here. You can just upload that entire bib file here. Yeah. So there's already an exported.bib. So yeah. So all your reference files come here. All your files which are stored in Zotero can come into Overleaf like this. Okay. So yeah, this is how we work around in using either Zotero or Overleaf or both. Okay. So this is very handy, very easy tools. So if you don't like to use Zotero, you can just put all your papers in Overleaf itself. I'll talk about Overleaf formatting and all that in a while. But this is about citation manager. Right now, whatever I spoke is about citation. You know, how to manage citation, how to use the citation. I'll talk about it in a while. Now coming to overleaf, okay, basics tools for writing the papers, okay. Uh, So here, generally we use overleaf. You can also use Microsoft Word, but it has got many issues, many problems, especially when you're putting it as a publication ready version, camera ready version. There are many issues. So if you are writing to India HCI accepted papers go into ACM proceedings, and ACM proceedings, they have a system called as tabs. Okay. So there is actually there is a team which works in these tabs, and they help with all these references and all these, formatting and issues, any issues with respect to formatting. Generally, if at all it goes, if the paper with overlay format goes smoothly, Word format, it gives lot of issues. So in our lab, nobody use Word document. Everyone use overleaf, and it is very, very simple. Uh, 1 second. Huh. So if you see, this is actually, if you just give overleaf ACM conference template, so this is, if you click this, you get the template here, okay? So ACM conference template, primary article template. This is actually 2 column, but when we submit, we are actually submit it as a 1 column, single column. So that is one change you need to do. So what you need to do is, this is overleaf actually. So it has got all these, folders. So your all the images you can upload as PNG file, and this is class. You don't have to touch all these, huh? All these don't touch. They are all class files and all that, BBX files. Don't touch anything. You have to touch only the text wherever text is there. So other text file you can delete. Text is the place where you have to edit your documents. Okay. So this is the only place where you have to uh, write, okay, content. And references dot bib, or they generally come, it comes as sample base or something like that. Where is references? This is software.bib is there, so you can change it to whatever name you want, and you can add all your references either from, directly from the journals or conference, or from Zotero, wherever you can just put it here. Okay. Yeah. Coming to this initial, starting with that, there are many unnecessary stuff. You can just delete it. So one thing what you need to do is, first time when you open this particular format, when you just open this, open as a template, as I said, it is in 2 column document. So that you need to change. That you need to change to 1 column. That's very simple. It's written in the template itself. If you see here, 1 second, sorry. If you see here in the template itself, they write, okay. So, yeah, they write this. Important information regarding submission versions for review. After finalizing the format of your paper, you must use the option manuscript with this. So this is for submission, okay. So even though it is 2 column, while submitting, you have to make it as 1 column. So you need to change this into wherever your this is there, document class, something like this is there, change it to this manuscript AC Mart. Not just that, you have to make it anonymous also, because while submitting, this is very another important thing which most of the India HCI, authors don't do is, they are putting the names. I'll come to that. So yeah, you have to change this, and then you can, submit it accordingly. Yeah, 1 second. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I need. Can you see still?
Yeah, we can see, yeah, the
Okay.
paper and this and
Yes. Okay. So basically, see, this is how your submission document will be. With this particular class, you will have this, single column papers. This is how you will submit without any name. Anonymous authors will come. This is very important. You should not add your names. So that anonymous clause is very important. That is what is there in the, this is while submission. When it is accepted and all, it is different. That we will take a session on that separately. So this is under manuscript, review, anonymous, AC Mart. AC Mart is the class name of Overleaf, ACM template. Manuscript, review, and anonymous. So review means it is under review with pay, with line number it comes, and anonymous is anonymous authors. This is very important. Nowhere you should mention your name. Even if you are citing your own work, then it should be in the third authors. Okay, third person reference. You should not say that, we did this in our previous study. You should say that, suppose I am referring my own work, like Rav and Joshi did this. I can't say that. I have to say Rav and Joshi did this. I can't say we did this. Okay. So nowhere the reviewer should come to know it is this person's work. That anonymity should be very important. Okay. So now coming to other parts of Overleaf. Overleaf is a very simple, editing tool. It might look like as if you're writing a code or something like that. If you're not very comfortable, you can even go to this visual editor. So you can just use this visual editor and you can write, but somehow I'm not very comfortable. So I go to this code editor. So section headings are with the /section. Okay. All these are already there in the template. You have to just add the name of the heading. Okay. So if you see the template, all these are there. Okay. So see, all these are here, names and everything is given, but that you can see section is already there. Section introduction is already there. You have to just write this thing. See, this comes as a one single column now with the name. Yeah, I haven't changed the AC here. I think I haven't changed the single column. I have changed. Yeah. So yeah. So you all the section and everything is already there. So if you want to add a subsection, then how do you add? Subsection is a command. It's very, user friendly, very easy. And if you want, item numbers, like suppose if you want to have bulleted points, then it is, itemize and end itemize and all that. You can just go through some of the basic Overleaf documentation, which is given in the Overleaf site itself. And also, if you are inserting an image, if you want, I can share some of the sample Overleaf paper documents in the schedule itself, so that if especially images and tables are important. Like see, this is the image, a table. Okay. How the table is inserted. So /begin table centering in the center of this thing, and caption I'm giving. Each table should have a caption and name of the table. And this is the command, tabular X is the command, and this particular table has participant, age, and gender and city, 4 columns. Between each column, there's an ampersand sign. This is Overleaf format, and I'm writing all the content inside the table. Okay. So this is how a table is written. Suppose if anything is needed, if this is something which you can use AI for. Okay. Suppose you don't like the indentation, you don't like the way it is come, you want, the line spacing should be less and all that. You can just paste this code into your AI tool, and you can ask AI tool to modify the width and whatever, the size, the indentation and everything. That is where it's very helpful. AI tools are very helpful. So this is how a table is inserted. And our image, inserting an image. Yeah, inserting an image is like this. So, you are inserting, all insert will be with /begin. Begin figure, insert the image, whatever image. Image should be uploaded on Overleaf before you even, insert something. So these are all the images that I have used in this particular paper. So yeah, if you need, I just share this one of the sample Overleaf paper here, because I strongly recommend you people use, if you are submitting to HCI, you people submit using Overleaf. Okay, this is and it doesn't take half an hour or 1 hour to learn. Very easy. And already the template consists of all the sections, subsections, and everything. You can refer to the sample file that I'll be putting for any other additional things like tables and figures. Tables and figures are also there in this. Aman Sharma, will you please mute yourself? Yeah. So yeah, so this is the basics of overleaf. Of course, I haven't gone in detail. Only when you do a hands-on session on overleaf, you will come to know what is important for you in this template that I'm clearly telling you is one is your text file. There are many text file. You can just keep one and delete all other text file. Okay. .tex is the only file which is important for you. You will have to write your content there. बाकी कुछ भी important नहीं है. You don't need to worry about other things don't delete, but this all these are required. BST, CLS, these are all the class files and ACM overlay files, so don't delete any other thing. You can delete these png files are images, you can just delete that. And these are the sample base.bib is the reference file. You can add your reference instead of the existing ones. And citing inside the paper is like this. So it is using /cite command. So it's like this. See, /cite. This is a paper which is already there in this references. I'm just citing it here. And end may, this is how ACM format works. This is already there in the template. Bibliography, ACM reference format, and bibliography name of the .bib file. This is the name of the .bib file. Okay. So yeah, this is only you will learn only when you start adding. It's very easy, and I'll put one. I'll give a sample overleaf paper in this. But before anything, if you haven't used overleaf at all, you have to create an account. It's a free account. You have to register yourself, go to overleaf, create an account, and you can just start exploring. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, yeah, so overleaf template references, you can do collaborative editing. This is an, additional help, like just like how your Google Docs is there. So if 2, 3 authors are writing a particular paper, you can share it with all the three authors, and they can, that's what how we do in the lab. So we do collaborative editing using overleaf. Okay. So you need to know what exactly text file is, how to write a section. /section is a command for section. /subsection is for subsection. /paragraph is for paragraph. And how to, bibliography, how it works, I showed already. Compiling and checking errors. This is another thing I didn't show. So when you compile, one second. When you compile, it shows some kind of error. 1 second, I can't even get this. There is a place where you can compile this particular overleaf. Just a second. I'm not able to get that. It is here somewhere. Yeah, okay. So here, this is recompile or compile, whatever. It compiles your overleaf into a PDF. And if at all there are errors, it's shown here. There are no errors here. It is just some suggestions are there, warnings are there, which is fine. If at all there are any errors, it comes here as red. Then it tells what exactly is the error. You can modify that. I mean, it shows also, like here, for example, it shows a warning. Orange is for warning, red is for error. So if there is any error, it shows here, you can just go back and you can correct the error. Okay. Yeah, only when you work on this, you will know it's very simple too. Okay, now next is submitting the paper to CMT. So what is CMT? CMT is a conference management system, which is used by India HCI since last couple of years. So it is not just used for submission, it's used for even, we use it for assigning the reviewers your decisions and your, suppose if your paper goes into the revise and resubmit phase, you have to submit your revised version, or you have to submit your rebuttal there. I'll talk about rebuttals in a while. So all that in CMT. So if you have not created an account on CMT, please create one, because that is where you are going to and submit your paper. So if you go to India HCI website, there is India HCI 2026 CMT submission portal. Go here, and here this is CMT. You have to create an account here. If you are new to CMT, register yourself, log into CMT with your registered email ID and password. And here, of course, you're all authors. There is, in the left side, there is something called as create new submission. You can click that. Now there is only one track which is open. Anusmita and will open all other tracks after a couple of weeks. So other tracks like student research, student design, or courses and workshop, everything will be opened here. So you will have to select. Suppose if you are writing a full paper and you want to submit a full paper, select these full papers, and you have to write. You read all these things details. Okay, we are the ones. Okay, if you have any queries on submission to the CMT portal, about the portal, you can email me or Kathy. Both of us look into the CMT portal. And if you have any questions regarding full papers, of course, you can email our paper chase, Helen Pitri and Dipanjan. Okay. So read this clearly. Here it is written. Okay, all the details are filled and the submission is complete. You will get an option to upload optional supplementary materials. If you have some kind of supplementary materials like a video file, or you have recorded, you have done a field study and you have recorded something there, you want to upload, you can do that. You can upload up to 2 supplementary files. The supplementary files may be in the following format only: PDF, CSV, TSV, MP4. Each supplementary file must be less than 20 MB. Authors are not allowed to upload external links as a supplementary file. For example, please do not upload a PDF file with a link to Google Drive folder. Don't do all these things. It should be very much anonymous. Write your title of the paper, okay? And paste your abstract. Currently, we have given 2000 character, but I don't think so. We'll change it to 150 or 250. We'll check with the paper chase. And then first author. Okay. Primary contact author and the first author doesn't have to be same. Suppose if your first author is somebody, but he or she is not very active in checking emails, someone else can be a primary contact. That is fine. Then you can add more authors here. Okay, you can add using their of course all the other authors should be on CMT. Okay, so you can't uh, you can't just add authors if they don't have CMT ID, I think. So you have to have this. Yes, add. Okay, currently organization IT Bombay. I think currently it allows. Not very sure. Okay. So it is preferred if everyone has your CMT ID, all the authors. So you can add different authors. Then yeah, so here in this case you can make other author as the primary contact instead of me. I can make someone else also as the primary contact. Then you can add more authors like this. You can do all that. Then you have to upload the files from here. Okay, you have to upload from the computer whatever your PDF files. Okay, your paper. Please ensure that it is anonymized, so that there are some questions. I think Kathy has put all these questions. Is your paper anonymized for review? So have you submitted using, so this is for you to check, especially the first time authors. So even though we tell couple of times, even though it is written in the India HCI website, what happens is it's natural to forget, right? So writing a paper with the name, it happens. So that is why there are some questions which are put. So is your paper anonymized for review, which is very important. Please anonymize your paper. Your name, your accreditation, your credentials, nothing should be there. Okay. Nowhere your paper should be identified that, okay, this person has written this paper. Ensure even if you are citing your own previous work, cite it in third person. This is very important. Okay. This is just to check that. And template. Yeah, this is very important. You have to have the right ACM template for the use the right template for the conference. Okay. If you use a wrong template, your paper will be desk rejected. So we'll give one warning. So what we are planning to do is just 2 days before the deadline, we'll go through all the submitted papers and we'll see the ones which are not anonymized, which are in the wrong template. We will tell them, we will send a mail saying that please anonymize and resubmit again, or please use the right template and submit again. We will give time 2-3 days, whatever it is. After that, still if the authors don't do, we will desk reject the paper. Okay, that's why these questions are just to check. This is like a checklist for the authors. In what capacity were AI tools used in the preparation and submission? This is just to ensure that, like, please check this policy. Okay, AI policy, please check it. It is written here. Check the AI policy. You can say that, like, we have used uh, AI for spell check or structuring, or paraphrasing, whatever. So you can just write that, whatever you have done it, and you have to submit it. So basically, this is how a CMT system works. I'm not submitting it because something else will come here. So anyways, so you can add more papers, you can add the main file, and you can also add supplementary file, 1, 2, or whatever it is, whatever number of supplementary files if you have. Okay. Okay, so this is CMT. Yeah. So, yeah, anonymization, again, I'm repeating this. This is very, very important. We have had a lot of experience about, with this. Authors' names are there and we have desk rejected the paper. Please ensure that it is anonymized. Correct PDF is uploaded. Page limit, check the page limit. If whatever is there, check that. And supplementary material, abstract and keyword entered properly. This is also important. Correct track category selected. Yeah, now this is full paper track. Of course, you submit it to full paper. Suppose if you're submitting student research, select that correct track and the category. Okay. So yeah, this is about submission. Coming to the review process, I think AJ sir has already talked about this review process.
No, no, I didn't get time. So you should please talk.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're there. Okay. Yeah. So what happens usually after the submission, paper chairs assign your paper to associate chairs and reviewers. Four people are there in total. Okay. So all the four people, they evaluate your contribution, clarity, rigor, relevance, novelty, and fit, and suggest. So these are the things which we followed last year. So I mean all these years. So accept with minor revision, revise and resubmit or reject. Okay. Suppose if the contribution is really not up to the mark, or if this it is not HCI paper, if it is these are something very common. So we have a lot of computer science engineering colleges and all that, and lot of AI NLP papers also we get, but it doesn't have any HCI contribution, so we reject it. It may be good, but it is purely not for HCI audience. We do reject, but of course, if there is a connection to, like if it is human-centered AI or even with NLP and all that, some kind of connection to users, actual users is there, we definitely go through it goes through the review process. Otherwise, it is automatically rejected. So so sometimes even if you think that you have done a great job, rejection is very common. Now I'll talk about rejection. I don't know how many times my paper is rejected. So not even once my paper has been accepted at the first go. It's a very common thing. Don't feel bad. It's a very common process in conferences and journals. To get rejected is not a bad thing. So submission is not the end. So reviews are part of writing, and learning to respond them is an essential skill. Okay, so this is very important. So review happens. So, depending on the topic, like suppose in my case, I'm working on older adults, or someone else like Vijayanand is working in dark patterns and usable security. So, and Kathy is working in some other area, someone else is working in some other area. So what happens is, depending on the topic of our paper, reviewers are allocated accordingly. Okay. So if my paper ACs, they get the paper, so they allocate my paper according to, suppose somebody is working in aging or somebody is working in accessibility. So my paper is allocated to people who are in the similar domain, not of exactly same domain, somebody who is in the similar domain. Okay. Suppose somebody writes a paper on text input, then definitely it will come to the people who are working in text input. So that is something which happens. So it is not just one person. There are four people. They agree, disagree. Sometimes you have different kind of these things. One person might say, this is, I'll show some of the reviews that I have got. One person might say, no, 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 there is a lot of work done. This looks good. We might, go towards, accept with minor revision and all that. One person might say, no, 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 this work is already done a lot of times. So it is something like, same thing, the author is looking at it in a different this thing. I can't find any novelty, so I'm rejecting it. Another person might say revise and resubmit. So there are three variations of one paper. Okay, three different reviews for one paper. So what happens? The associate chair takes a call. He's actually generally, associate chairs are slightly more experienced in these things. They take a call, they discuss amongst the reviewers, they ask them to go through each other's reviews and come to a consensus. Even if the consensus is not arrived, associate chair can take a call. Okay, let me go with revise and resubmit. These are the reviews. Let us see how the authors will write a rebuttal. So writing a rebuttal becomes very important here. Okay. So your reviews, I'll show some of the reviews. Your reviews may contain some helpful feedback, which is very good. Nice reviewers. Sometimes misunderstandings. Okay. Suppose if I conduct a qualitative study. Okay. So I have taken maybe 10 uses. So the paper might go to a author or a researcher, reviewer who is very good in quantitative. He might say that n is 10 is very less. You can't, generalize your finding. That becomes a misunderstanding, because in qualitative research, we are not claiming generalizability. We are something else. Okay, that is a different topic of altogether, but there is a misunderstanding. There is a slight misunderstanding here, because we are not claiming these kind of things. So this is qualitative. So in that case, you need to, as an author, you need to write the rebuttal in that way. Of course, not scolding the reviewer. Okay. So you will find criticism of framing, method, writing or claims, and also conflicting comments from different reviewers. In that case, how do you handle this? Okay. So this is where, so that's why I said, when you write and submit, your job as an author doesn't end. Okay. So I'll show one of the recent review that I have got. So this is how your reviews, this is actually the nicest review I've got. I've got nasty reviews also. So one second. Yeah. So this is the meta review. That is, associate chair actually consolidate all the reviews and writes like this. Okay. There are two AC, R2 is reviewer 2 and R1 reviewer 1. So he consolidates and he gives a decision. So this I have got revise and resubmit. Okay. So this is reviewer 2 AC reviewer review. So they talk about originality, significance and all that and whatever. Okay. So some minor comments are also given. Presentation clarity, research quality. So here, despite it is being something is acknowledged, it dilutes the claim of group activity metrics, sustained engagement. This is a problematic contradiction in the paper, which should be addressed, which is actually I agree with. Okay. So yeah, so these kind of reviews, if you see the reviews are 4 pages review. Okay. So you get really feel bad. One advice I have read somewhere, I think AJ only might have told, one advice is, when you read the reviews, just close it. Don't read the reviews on that day. Next day morning, get up and read the review. That actually helps. Okay. So see the reviews. Okay. If you get good, actually, it is really good to get good reviewers, because your paper becomes better. Okay. See, the reviews are like, 4 pages review. The last reviewer, unfortunately, every time it is reviewer 2 only. He or she was very strict, and everywhere there is a problem. Okay. So problems are identified in study 1 and study 2 everywhere. And also they have given reference to other papers. So they said these people have done similar work. Why are you not citing them? Okay. So this is what they uh, actually give. So the 4 pages review. So how to write rebuttal to these reviews? This is important. So you have to be professional. You can't be rash. You can't be rude. At the same time, you don't have to be too humble. If you think that you are really right, doing the right thing, you can justify. But justification should be with valid points. Okay. So there is no single way of writing the rebuttal. I follow this pattern. I try to address each reviewer, like 1AC. What is 2AC saying? How exactly I'm handling this? And what is R1 saying, how exactly I'm handling this? What is R2, how exactly I'm handling this? Unfortunately, most of the conferences, they have a character limitation while writing the review. You can't rebuttal. You can't write lengthy, articles saying that, oh, I did this because I wanted to show the effect. That's the reason I did. We can't write such lengthy sentences. I think it is, yeah, 5,500 characters, within 5,000 characters. So this particular rebuttal, I should write within 5,000 characters. So I ensured that here. So here, like for example, R1 is a reviewer. He has said that tech is not a solution for everything. Of course, he or she has said in detail many things. I just quoted this, and I have written that I have refined the introduction. Okay, lines 30 to 34. Somewhere I didn't agree. I have written it is not possible. I don't know where exactly. Somewhere, wherever I did, yeah. So here, like one of the reviewer, okay, this is a misunderstanding actually. One of the reviewer has said, I need to use inter-rater reliability for thematic analysis. Okay, so this is a misunderstanding. So I have clarified it, saying that we used reflexive thematic analysis, hence we did not compute IRR. This is highlighted in the refined, okay, one sentence I added, highlighted in the refined 3.2. That's all. So you need to, sometimes you need to justify your choice, whether it is your design choice, whether it is your method choice, you have to justify, provided you have proper justification. Otherwise, if the suggestion is really good, you take that suggestion, you refine the paper. Or suppose in India HCI case, I'm not sure how the pattern this year is. If at all only rebuttal is needed, you say that we will take care of this point. Okay.
Yeah, only rebuttal, no
revise, right? Yeah, okay. So in India case, there is no revise. They give you revise and resubmit or rebuttal. They ask you to write a rebuttal. So you have to write a rebuttal and you have to say that, yes, we will take care of this. Or suppose if a comment like this is come, okay, inter-rater reliability for thematic analysis, you justify. No, we use reflexive thematic analysis. So it doesn't make any sense in using this thing. We have clarified this. We will clarify this in this. We will. It's a future tense. Okay. So writing a rebuttal is an art. So you have to be firm when you're right. You have to be polite. At the same time, you can't be rude. Sometimes there is a misunderstanding. Nobody wants anything bad. Huh? So it is not that people are unnecessarily attacking your work. So generally, peer review, it may not be the best model, but this is a model everywhere. It works. Paper acceptance works accordingly. So go through the reviews and write. Like for example, in my case, this particular reviewer, I have taken a lot of time. So where, so I have each and everything. So I have done this, study one, so that, even for the reviewers, they can just go back to their whatever comments they have given. They might be reviewing 10 papers or 20 papers, right? They won't remember what exactly they have commented. Like if I review a paper, if I review, say, for example, India HCI paper, if HSR reviews 20 papers in India HCI or 10 papers in India HCI, then he will definitely not remember what comment he has given. So during the tell, it is better to highlight, this is a point and this is how we are going to address it. Then, okay, he or she will, HSR will make a decision. Okay, so this is doable. Okay, TK. So this can be accepted from his side. So this is important. Writing a rebuttal is important. If you need, I can submit some of the sample reviews and sample rebuttals in the workshop, this thing itself. Okay. Yeah, so misunderstanding, criticism, conflicting comments, and how do you often, how often new writers often react. So I used to do this. I used to feel very upset and I used to feel very discouraged. I used to say that, how can they do this? I have put so much of effort and these kind of reviews, but that is how it is. Now it doesn't matter to me at all. So you don't focus on the negative comments. So it's fine. You see how it can be made better. As you don't assume that rejection means it is bad research. So there are two things. So one is research is good and your presentation, your structuring of the paper is good, then chances of your paper getting accepted is high. Research is good, but your structuring and the paper, writing is bad, that chances of paper getting accepted is low. But it doesn't mean that it is bad research. But of course, if you do a bad research and if you write badly, then of course there is 100% chance that your paper gets rejected. That is different. I'm not talking about the last case. But if you have done a good research and if your paper gets rejected, that means you need to work on making the structure better. That's all. Okay. So read the reviews productively. Read once for overall sense. This is important. Generally, if you are first-time authors, don't read on the day. If at all you get the reviews at night, don't read it. Just close and sleep. Next morning, with a fresh mind, open the reviews and read it, to get an overall sense. Read again calmly and separate genuine weakness, points, needs clarification, and reviewer misunderstanding. Okay. There are something which, needs some kind of clarification. Okay. No, this is not what we meant. We meant this, we will clarify this. Or like in my case, that reviewer misunderstanding. Okay, so no, we can't use inter-rater reliability because we used reflective thematic analysis. We clarified that. We will clarify that in the paper. And genuine weakness. If you think that, okay, this is the thing, there is genuine weakness. Okay, you have combined, say, for example, you have combined results and discussion together. This is not how a paper works. Then, yes, work on it. Results and discussion should be separate. So remove your discussion section, whatever part in the from the results. Keep results only for findings and all that, and discussion focuses on the implications of the your findings and all that you can do. Okay. Look for patterns across reviews. This is very important. So maybe all the 4 people are saying something similar. Okay. So in this thing also, in that particular review which I showed, everyone pointed towards the limitations of study 2. So study 1, people were happy with, but the way I have done the study 2, they had different opinions, but everyone had problems with study 2. That's a pattern. So I had to work on my study 2. So that is something which you have to look for patterns. Okay. So writing a rebuttal or a response, be respectful. Okay. Don't be rude. Okay. Be respectful. Again, it is anonymous. Huh? You can't write in our, like, I can't write. Suppose if I'm writing a rebuttal, I can't say that at IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay, we are doing this. No, it has to be anonymized rebuttal. Okay. Be respectful. Be specific. Do not be overly emotional or overly defensive. Answer each key point, whatever important points clearly. Acknowledge useful criticism. Some of the criticism are really useful. It will make your paper better. Acknowledge that and explain the changes or justify the choices carefully. Suppose if you are justifying something, like in my case, that thematic analysis and iterative reliability, justify it carefully. Okay. So good researchers are not those who never get critical reviews. All of us have got critical reviews. Okay, all of us. Even I am not a great researcher, but even the greatest researchers also, they get critical reviews. So, and we have to learn how to revise and respond constructively. This is how the entire, academia peer review works. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that is about the tips and tools. So be clear about your contribution, write carefully and honestly. Integrity is very important. Use the tools wisely. Tools, you are the author. You should be accountable. Tools will help you to make the process easier. Okay? Manage references properly, submit carefully, treat the reviews as part of learning. You are learning from the reviewers. They are putting effort, right? They're putting effort to make your paper better. So think that, they're helping you and treat them as a part of learning. I think that's all. Oh, I'm on time.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Pallavi. That was very, very informative, this
Thank
session.
you.
Yeah. And I think regarding the overlift thing also, right? I think
Ah,
since, yeah, I think you mentioned that you would basically need to go through it and kind of, tinker around it to kind of learn a little bit about it. I think that is a suggestion that everyone should also be taking seriously, in the sense that you kind of already don't wait for the last moment to do that. Do it beforehand so that you get time to learn it, and also, to make all the corrections there, right? So coming to the questions, there is a question from Dr. Santosh. He asks that if the research work is entirely empirical or unique, why one should choose to use AI supports? Using AI may leak the study even before publication.
yeah, that's a question one need to ask himself. Yeah, if the study is empirical,
Hmm.
okay. These are two different things, right? Studies empirical using AI. There are two different things. So studies empirical, yeah, fine. You have data with you. Empirical means what? You have data, either qualitative data or quantitative data. You have data with you. So you may need, like, I'm not saying if it is empirical, you should not use AI. So you can use AI to structure whatever your this thing. Suppose you have lot of data, okay? Just like how we use SPSS for quantitative data analysis, you can use AI for, I haven't tried, because I am basically, recently I'm doing all qualitative studies. I haven't done any quantitative studies. So I haven't done, but I have heard that, AI is good in analyzing quantitative data, just like how SPSS does. It is basically, you can use it as a tool. So my point is whether it is empirical or not, whether it is theoretical. So why, even for theoretical, why do you need to use AI? Because it is your work, right? So definitely you don't need to use AI to write your theoretical paper. So AI can help you in paraphrasing, grammar, or some kind of heading suggestions or some kind of critical analysis. I use AI sometimes as a reviewer. So, so this is a work. So where exactly, what exactly I'm wrong, where exactly I'm wrong. Think like a critical HCI professor, and then, give such, how can I strengthen this paper? That is all you can use it for. But the ultimate writing should be yours, because especially the first time writers, if you start using AI, then your argumentation fails. You can't you can't argue in a paper appropriately without AI. That is something which you should avoid. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, Pallavi, you said that you also use AI as someone like a reviewer or someone, right? So,
Yes.
in that kind of scenario, do you suggest that we don't include all the data, or is it safe to kind of include the data? Like if there is like what basically building on what Dr. Santosh said, right?
Yeah. It depends. I know, like I know that there are many. I have read also, if at all you have lot of data and you put it into AI, maybe it is it is like it's already you're giving out before even publishing.
Right.
So I don't know, because I haven't done. That's why I said I am a qualitative researcher. So I haven't done any kind of substantial quantitative stuff. So where I'm using AI as as a critic is, suppose if I have a theoretical framework, okay. So in my thesis, I have a theoretical framework. So I want AI to criticize my framework from all angles. Okay. So whether it is actually a helpful framework, or whether it is a repetitive thing, whether it is already done and dusted, whether I'm unnecessarily repeating the same thing, with it's like uh, wine in a new glass or kind of a thing, whether is there any kind of comments that can come from this. I'm
Hmm.
using for these things, not putting the
Hmm.
entire paper into AI.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know about putting the entire paper into AI, whether it will, I have no idea. Like whether it is, I mean, I'm basically, I myself, I'm very skeptical in putting my,
Yeah.
even if my qualitative data, I'm very skeptical in putting anywhere, because I don't want it to be leaked.
Right.
So I don't do that, but I don't know whether they take it before publishing and all that. That I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we should be careful. I mean, especially if we.
Yeah, it's your work,
Yeah.
right? So you
Exactly.
cannot be just giving it to some tools.
That's
Even
it.
Grammarly also, I
Yeah.
use Grammarly, but Grammarly is okay. I mean, I don't use online Grammarly. I have this tool with me. I use that often.
Mm,
And but the problem with Grammarly is I don't have Grammarly in Overleaf. There's something which I don't have. So I haven't
mm,
subscribed to it. So I copy, the text
mm,
from Grammarly and put it in Word, and I see, whether the grammar is okay, whether it suggests something.
mm,
That's some very common thing I do.
mhm.
So, but it is in my desktop. I'm not giving it anywhere outside. Yeah.
Right, right.
Mm.
Yeah.
You should be careful, whether it is qualitative or quantitative data. You should be careful in putting it online anywhere. Yeah.
Right, right. So, I think another question is from Rakesh. He asked that in academic writing, what's the ideal balance between local and international citations, especially when the topic is region specific?
Okay, that's a very good question. Yeah. So, the thing what I follow, it is not necessarily the same for everyone. What I follow, which is very helpful for me, is I'm working on Indian older adults, right? So I cite all international, and I say that in India the context is different. So if you see all my papers, even here also in this, okay, anyways, I just must have shown it many times. So the thing is, in my papers, what I do is, this is what happens in Japan, this is what happens in US, this kind of technologies has been done in in this space. But in India, it may not work, because culture is different and elderly are rigid in changing their this thing and all that. So we need different context, we need different culture. So that is the reason, we need to look into local listings. I am not finding much of research in this. There are a couple of papers, studies which are happening in Indian context, but it is still less. So we are focusing in this area. So this is how my, my framing works in this thing. So even though I am looking at localized Indian particular context, I am citing work from international, saying that it may not work in Indian context. So it is not necessary that you should not cite. Like food, for example, local food. So that is something which, I mean, that is another project which we are starting in IDs, HSS lab. Today only we were recruiting interns for that. So local food is something which is particular to Indian context, right? It is Indian local food for Indian older adults or anybody. So, how much nutrition is there, how much this is there, and all that. So there is a lot of work which is done in different countries, but not in Indian context. So I can definitely cite international context and say that it is not happening in India. So this is something where we need to focus on. So you can
Right.
cite. It depends on your topic. Suppose you
Mm.
are working on specifically some particular artistic community, then you can use, some papers in that area region, but still you can cite. If it is relevant, you can definitely, even if it is contradicting also, you can definitely cite. You can say that, see, it works there. It doesn't work here. It is contradicting to this thing. So actually, these things strengthen your paper. So that
Right.
means you know what is happening in your area, not just in India, even globally.
Yeah, I mean, to get a broader overview, we do need that to
Yeah.
understand where we stand in that particular context, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone has? Or you can just put it on the chat box. I mean, we'll
Oh, I
have
should
the.
check. I
No,
haven't
it's
checked.
just, yeah. Those are the ones. I think if there are any, we can also take it after this
Okay.
announcement that we have. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Pallavi. This was, I mean, really informative, and some of these things are basically, I mean, I feel that for new writers now it can feel a little bit overwhelming in terms of the overlift thing and everything. But I feel that if you start now, and which is basically related to what we have the announcement for the next session. So basically, we are launching a mentorship program related to this. So all of you who are, who have been part of this session, and everyone who has registered for this session, I'll share a Google form link with all of you. What you need to do is you basically need to upload a draft of your paper. Okay, you have time until May 10th. So all those details will be shared with you over email as well. So you have 2 weeks of time until May 10th. You can draft a paper. So it need not be a complete paper, like it need not be like a fully formed paper, but you can at least start based on the sessions that we had today. So you have got an idea about how to structure a paper, the abstract, the literature part, the conclusion, and the summary part, and all of that. So just give a go at it, and then you can submit those papers. And once you submit those papers, we'll basically be looking through it, and then we'll be assigning mentors based on your areas. Okay, so you will get this kind of one-on-one kind of kind of mentorship, or maybe group mentorship that we'll have. And this will, I mean, we're hoping to see submissions from your end, so that we can have some good structured submissions to this conference, right? And I'll share this link on the schedule as well, and as well as on the emails of all of your email IDs are with me, so I'll do that from my end. Yeah. And apart from that, yeah, basically, I mean, that's basically related to the announcement. So I think we can also take some any other comments, any questions you have, anything that you guys want to share. I mean, we have a lot of time for that, so we can do that.
There was one question. Can AI help in literature review without causing plagiarism
Hmm.
issues?
Yeah.
I have done an extensive literature review paper itself. I haven't used AI because that time AI was
Hmm.
not famous, anyways. And I'm happy I didn't use AI because I know it is easy to use
Hmm.
AI to do the literature review, especially it gives nicely. You can, even search papers and all that. But honestly, if you are a first time writer, I suggest please don't use, because doing a literature review on your own will help you in a lot of things. You will help understand the space very well. You will know how the method is actually, how they have conducted the study. You know their practical problems and everything. Literature review is not just for summarizing it is not just for summarizing what has been done in the area. Literature review is basically, you know, to make you understand the problems, the existing methods, and all that, to make you a, person who is knowledgeable. I mean, if you should know what exactly happens in the, is happening in that particular area. So, my suggestion is don't use AI. You can use AI again only for paraphrasing and all that. If you are a first time author, but if you are, I don't know, I have to try. I have to try using AI to write a literature review. This is after PhD, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even then not much is at stake in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much things at stake. Yeah. I mean, someone said that use AI like Grammarly, like just to check the
Ye-
grammar. I mean, that's it.
Somehow in IDC, many of us are not much of, we don't appreciate much of AI use because
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever AI use we have seen is really
I
bad.
know,
So,
and it kind of turns up everything into a template. Like you
yes,
feel everything sounds the same. The tone, the voice, the
yeah,
content, everything is just
the
like a template
words. Mm,
that you get to see. Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Any questions or anything? Anyone wants to share anything regarding the session? We'd also love to get any kind of comments or feedback also on the session, so that it helps us also to go forward for the next time also. Animesh has mentioned something. To what extent should one use references to define or explain our use of certain terms or words? For example, if I am talking about a particular art style in animation or illustration, should I define what I mean by the term style, or can I use it as it is?
No, I think you have to define. Defining even a simple word. Like we even define HCI. So once first I write what HCI, first I write human computer interaction, bracket my HCI, then use HCI all the time. So
Yeah.
it's always, I mean, it is not needed. Everyone knows in HCI now, but I'm just giving, an example. It's always important to define because you can't assume people to, know the thing in, I mean, you can't assume not just the reviewers, even the people who read your paper. So define it.
I think that's
Just
what Pranjal also kind of talked about in his
hmm
session. That
okay.
what kind of readers you might have. Somebody who might be an expert in the domain, someone who has no idea about it at all. So how
Yeah.
do you kind of write for those all different kinds of audiences when you're handling, right? So I think, yeah, it's important to do that. And the more specific you are, the more context aware you are, the more it'll be helpful for everyone else also. Yeah.
So, Anusmita, I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to ask, can I ask something?
Yes.
Yeah, so there are still 44 people in the call, so presumably all of these people are serious people. So just wanted to ask if how many of them are planning to submit for the mentorship, because
Yeah.
according to that we will organize a number of mentors. So if, I mean, you can always say
Hmm.
yes and not submit, or submit afterwards without saying yes, but just to get a sense. So is anybody, so this mentorship program we have been doing for India HCI, and it is quite useful for people to improve their papers. But you need to have a draft early and ready, basically. So that is the actual India HCI papers deadline is 7th of June. No,
Yeah.
7th of
7th of
June.
June is the full paper. 1st June is abstract submission.
So correct. So right. So 7th of June is the actual paper deadline. So if you want to submit to India HCI by 7th of June, you will need some feedback before that, right? So the
Right.
idea is if you submit by May 10th, then we will find mentors for you. But if there are too many people, then we will struggle to find enough mentors. So just wanted to get a sense of how many people. So if you can, please raise your hand if you're planning to submit to India HCI,
You can just write yes on the
or write
chat.
yes.
Yeah.
And this is one thing most, I mean, India HCI is doing regularly. I don't think
Yeah.
there are very few conferences
That
they do
actually does.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. True, true. Yeah.
And it's a, I mean, even if you don't ultimately, your paper doesn't get accepted, it's a good to get mentorship. You're getting free advice, right? So
Yeah.
it's good to
Yeah.
get mentorship. Yeah.
That's true. And we want more, new kind of work that comes out of it. I mean, I think, yeah, many of them have mentioned. Yeah. Someone said that you could not register earlier. Is there a possibility to participate now? Okay, so Mitali, your so that means your email ID might not be there on the Google form, right? So could you just paste it here so that I can also share it, and also let me just share the link here also so that you can directly go there. Um,
Yeah, so 10th May is your deadline to submit the first draft so that you can get feedback. You don't have to submit it. I mean, say for example, if you miss the 10th May deadline, then you can directly submit the paper. But if you want mentorship, this is the deadline.
And it doesn't have to be a fully written paper, even if you have some sections
Yeah, that's
I
also
mean,
okay.
that's
The
also okay,
better,
but
the more you have written, the
more feedback.
More feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have submitted the link. I'm pasted this link here. You can just go through it and you can just, I mean, just keep this in mind because maybe many of you might be again looking for it towards the end of it, maybe. But yeah. Anyways, I'll also share this via email so that you have it with you and you can also submit through this, right? Yeah.
should I also copy it in the schedule?
Yes, yes, that will also help. Yeah. That I will share the schedule with all the resources that are there, and we'll also share all of this over email as well. Yeah. So, so yeah, so we can maybe conclude for today. If there are no anything, if there's nothing to share, I mean, no one is sharing. Okay, yeah, I think Abhimanyu talks about. He said this session was incredibly helpful. Is this recording going to be on India HCI website or on YouTube for future reference? So I think we'll have the YouTube link, right? Will that?
Yeah. YouTube link will remain.
So there
Hmm.
is already a schedule and there is a YouTube link. I mean, both the sessions are recorded and they're available on YouTube uh, if you want to review it afterwards. Maybe it's useful when you're writing the papers. You can definitely do that.
Yeah. And what should the draft include?
So it should be the first draft of your paper. Try to be as complete as possible, and particularly include sections where you think you need the most feedback. So this
Yeah.
is for you to get feedback, right? So you can include anything that you. I mean, you can even leave in questions there in the draft saying, "I'm not sure how to frame this" or whatever.
Hmm.
That's also okay.
Yeah. 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 Will the mentorship be limited to papers related to HCI alone, or is it a bit broader? So,
This is for India HCI. We are all India HCI organizers.
yeah.
India itself has, by the way, it accepts a fairly broad range of papers.
Yeah.
So unless you are submitting for medicine or something like that, or very
Yeah.
hardcore engineering, maybe we will not be able to give you meaningful feedback. But I mean, in broader domains of HCI or design or even arts, crafts, all of that should be okay actually, right? So people might say that this is too far out, so they might ask you to justify why this kind of a paper should be published in India HCI. Yeah, and if it's too far out, maybe India itself may also not be the best venue for your publication. But we are fairly broad in being fairly inclusive in India itself.
Yeah. News, I think we hope that these sessions that we had for the workshop, I mean, that should also help you in kind of understanding in general about paper writing, because those were also quite broad in that ways. I mean, what they talked about also, right? Okay, Gotham says that thanks for the helpful session. My question is a bit generic one. Any answers are welcome. Does PhD programs have a course to formally introduce the candidate in language skills and statistics methods and tools like SPSS? I think that depends. I mean, in my college, we had a workshop. It was not really part of the course, but we had a workshop on SPS. Especially, there were a couple of our students who were actually working on the quantitative research. So we had requested for this particular workshop. But I'm not sure how it happens in IDC though. In IT County, like we basically had that, but I think it also depends on what kind of institute you're applying to and what really, I mean, what kind of course or modules they actually follow in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have two courses, one on quant and one on qual for PhD students. So more or less all quant methods are done. These
Hmm.
days, people are moving out of SPSS
Hmm. Right.
with all kinds of tools. But yeah, I mean, Jupyter notebooks and God knows what else.
Yeah.
But ठीक है, मतलब SPSS भी है, Google Sheets भी है, सब कुछ है.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. Proceedings of this conference will be Scopus indexed.
Yeah, it's an ACM digital library, which is Scopus Index. So
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'd like to thank everyone who joined in, and especially the people who joined in post lunch as well, because this has been quite a long session. Also, we started quite early also. And I'd also like to thank the volunteers who helped us, Vidhi and Sharvari, Pramit, and couple of students here in IT Hyderabad. There's Hardik, Anuran. So they helped us with this entire thing. And especially to the speakers, Professor Joshi and Pallavi and Pranjal and Malay. Thank you all for taking out time, and especially on a holiday. And they were really, really insightful sessions. I mean, not just I think for the new like kind of people who are joining for the session, but even for us. So this has been really, really a very great, insightful session for all of us. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Maheshwata, I think, yeah. Is there a scope for online participation? Oh, yeah. Maheshwata actually stays in Canada. She's one of our MDes students. So she's asking whether there is a scope for online participation for HCI. So currently, I think we don't have that, right? The online participation thing.
Yeah, so let's see how the war goes or whatever. Probably as of now, so we are only in exceptional situations we have allowed in the past for people to present online. But organizing a hybrid conference is like organizing two conferences, so nobody wants to do that. So we organize these purely online sessions and then we do purely in-person sessions. But occasionally, if somebody cannot travel or has some health issues or whatever, then we also enable online presentation for that person. But there is per se, that is mainly in exceptional circumstances, not a routine thing that we would do.
Yeah, especially if they are abroad and cannot travel. Yeah, I think we have given that option, right, for
Yeah.
presenting papers.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, thanks, Mitali. And Mitali, maybe you can just share your email ID if you have not registered, so that I can, kind of send it to you. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just take
Bye.
Mitali's this thing. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone.